Hello and welcome to 365 Days of Excelling with Clive. This is day 49. Today we are looking at working with pivot tables, and we are looking at how we can extract data from the pivot table using the GetPivotData formula. So this formula is used to extract data from your pivot table, and it requires a minimum of 2 parameters. So the first minimum parameters you have to specify is the column you want to extract and the pivot table or reference to your pivot table being the first cell from which your pivot table is starting from. So in my example here, you can see that I'm extracting the cells units column, and I'm now specifying where the pivot table is starting from, E1. Then it gives me the total for that column. So if I just want to get the total for a column, I just have to specify the name of the column and the cell from which the pivot is starting from. And also likewise, if I want the total sales value, this total 16,000 here, I say get pivot data for sales value. Where does my pivot start from? It starts from E1. So that's how I can use get pivot data to get the total. But what if I want to get also the values for a certain region? How can I do that? So down over here, you can see that I have now quite a number of criteria here. So these other criteria here, which are not in bold, are optional criteria. So if I have an option to also select the region value. So this is now my field which I want to select from. So I'm saying here, give me the sales units value for a pivot which is starting from E1. And here I'm saying I want the field region, and specifically region 1. So I'm just getting the region 1 sales value, which is 300. And you can also do the same with the sales value as well. So let me just start typing the formula from scratch. So I say equals get pivot data, and I can just bring this function arguments window. And I say, what data field do I want to get? So I want the sales units here. Then where is my pivot table starting from? Because at this point, Excel doesn't know which pivot table I'm using. If I have many pivot tables, it doesn't know which one I want to use. So I have to specify where my pivot is starting from. So I say it's starting, I can just click here, or I can just say E1. Then it says, what is the field I want to extract the data from? So I want to extract from the region which is called field. So this is a field that I added into my pivot table. So I say region. Then item 1, what is the item I want to get? So for that particular region, what item do I want to get? I want to get region 1. Then it gives me this value of 300, which is this one. Then I say, okay. So this is how I did this formula here. One would ask and say, if you just want the total sales, why would you not just use a formula, for example, to say equals F8, for example, this is the total units, and equals to G8 as the total sales value. So this gives me the correct answer. However, the challenge is if I do a change on my source data and refresh this pivot table to the extent that the pivot table grows bigger than what it is now, this formula will still continue to reference in G8 and F8, and it doesn't move dynamically with the change in shape and size of my pivot table. So what I'm saying is if I add region 7 here, and I refresh my pivot table, you can see now that this is still referencing to F8 and this is referencing to G8, but my totals have moved down and it doesn't move dynamically with that. But this formula, it moves dynamically with the movement in my pivot table. So another way you can just create this formula without knowing even the arguments which you want to put in here is to just say equals this. So it gives you exactly the same formula as this one as well. And you can also do the same with this one as well. So it gives you the same, automatically it reads where your pivot table is starting from and the column you want to use. And it gives you the formula here. So that's it with get pivot data formula. Thank you. Bye-bye.